All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another presentation from Intersect's Open Source Office. I, of course, am Tex, an Open Source Program Manager here at Intersect. I'm joined today by Kevin Hammond, one of the key instruments here in the Node build. Kevin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, so I'm Kevin Hammond. I've been working with Cardano since 2019. So I've been heavily involved in all of the release of the Cardano Node, all of the hard forks, from Shelley all the way through to Chang, and now Chang number 2, which is just coming up.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sir Kevin. So if you could, at least from your perspective, tell us some more about the second hard fork, right? So Chang 2, and how this is different or how this improves from 9.1.0.
So Chang was really exciting Tex, because what it did was it moved us into the era of being a governance chain. So Cardano is now, as CoinDesk pointed out, it's now a governance token. We're able to enact various types of proposal on chain. We're able to incorporate voting. There's an interim constitution. There's an interim constitutional committee. And we can enact various types of things on chain, including governance actions, including the ability to enact hard forks, to change various protocol parameters, and to conduct polls using the info action on chain that various parties can be involved in. So DREPs, SPOs, and the Constitution Committee can all provide their opinion on these actions. And we've been delighted to see the community taking advantage of this by putting together some actions that cover issues of the day. So this is a real step forward in community governance. One of the key things that we did with the Chang hard fork was to introduce the concept of a delegated representative. So ADA holders, they can choose to become representatives themselves and to vote on various actions on chain, but they can also choose to delegate their vote to a representative, which can be a person or it could be one of two predefined options. So there's plenty of scope for ADA holders now to participate in the full governance of Cardano. And the Chang number 2 hard fork, this is the second part of this. What happens with Chang number 2 is we add in 4 additional types of governance action. So we add in Treasury Withdrawals, we add in no confidence votes, we add in the ability to change the constitution, and we add in the ability to elect a new constitutional committee. So this completes the set of governance actions that were defined in SIP 1694. And also, very importantly, it enables the full voting power of the DREPs. So DREPs from Chang number 2 will be able to vote on all kinds of governance action. So it's an incredibly exciting moment. This is the point at which the community gets its full voice. It's the point at which 1694, the basis for Cardano's governance, comes into full effect. And it's the point at which we can start to put together not just an interim constitution, but a final constitution that's going to govern the way that Cardano develops in the coming years. It's an incredibly exciting time for us.
I've got to agree with your excitement there, Kevin. Absolutely, being able to have produced, hey, we can put forth an action and then have some people vote on it. Now we open that up to not everybody, but everybody via the right channels can vote on that. It's very, very exciting.
Every ADA holder has a vote, Tags.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, sir. I don't want to be remiss. We're also joined by Mr. Sam Leathers, who gave us an overview of Node 9.1.0. Sam, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you today, Tex?
Very well, very well. Now, I know you heard some of what Kevin was talking to here as far as the upgrades with Chang 2. What would you say you have to add on the topic?
Yeah, so the Node 10.1.1 basically is going to enable the hard fork. It has all the changes in it. One of the things that we kind of added at the last minute at the SPO's basically suggestion was the ability to auto-delegate an SPO for everything but hard fork actions, which it can be done now by using the reward address of the SPO and delegating to the auto abstain DREP. That will also then not just take the stake for voting purposes, but also for SPO staking purposes, how it handles things like no confidence votes, like adding and removing committee members, the security parameters and whatnot. It's a way that the SPOs can kind of opt out from most of these actions, but still basically send their indication that, hey, I'm ready to hard fork.
Great stuff. As far as how the Chang 1 went, what would you say the outlook is right now as far as Chang 2? Are there more people that are ready for the next upgrade, or how's it looking?
So I'm very excited at the fact that the hardworking group going into Chang 2 is well established, and we have lots of people across the swath of the ecosystem volunteering to participate in it. With Chang 1, it was a little bit more of a rough start because we were just starting it. It started out as a small group. We started growing it from there. But I'm much more confident this time around that we have all the people at the seat of the table for the hard fork working group now to get this out. The primary holdup that we're seeing to excitement about the update is that we don't see enough people delegating their stake. So if you have not delegated your stake on your wallets yet, find a DREP, choose someone to represent you. That way we can have that stake spread out across multiple DREPs and have a nice balanced view for the actions that are being voted on after the hard fork.
And if you're technically astute, please become a DREP yourself. There's nothing stopping you, nothing inhibiting you. All you have to do is register as a DREP, and you can then cast a vote on all of the info actions that are coming forward. We very much encourage you to think about doing that.
Absolutely. And going on that, I mean, we have about 500 DREPs, I think, registered now. So thank you very much for the community stepping up and saying that, hey, I want to jump in on this. So this is going to be some really exciting times over the next few months here as we finish rolling this out and we start looking at the next chapter of Cardano.
Yeah, it's actually over 600, Sam. Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Over 600 now. Sorry, I was on vacation for the last few days, so I missed that.
So the heat is really building up here. It's getting really exciting.
All right, maybe I can bring another question in here, and I know it's going to be somewhat similar, but are there any additional steps that SPOs can take to be prepared for the next upgrade? I know it wasn't very prevalent, but there were a few that said that maybe they weren't ready or it took them a couple extra days to get everything established. What can we tell them moving forward?
So for the SPOs, most of them were pretty fast with this last one. It was much more the DApp community that was hesitant. This one has no impact on them whatsoever. It does provide new functionality through Plutus for being able to use new built-ins that they can choose to do when they want to, if they want to. But there should be no impact necessarily to the dApps and having to change their code like there was going from the old one to the new one, because there are some going from 8 to 9, there were some pretty major changes to the cost model that affected dApps, and they wanted some more time to test. So that should be less of a factor this time around. Would you agree, Kevin?
Yes, absolutely. So we introduced a new Plutus version, Plutus v3, last time. We introduced reference scripts for Plutus v1, and hopefully people are taking that up. It's a great feature. It really increases the on-chain capacity and should also reduce the cost for some of the dApps that are out there. And we also, of course, introduced fees for reference scripts. So there are a number of changes that dApp developers had to consider. As Sam's saying, with version 10, the main change is going to be that there will be some additional Plutus primitives, and these are unlocking features like additional additional interoperability with Bitcoin through the RIPE MD 160 cryptographic hashing function, through bitwise and logical operations on byte strings. So there's some additional capabilities that are being unlocked, and no doubt some dApps are eagerly waiting for those to become available. But for the majority of existing dApps, it should be limited impact. So the sooner they can upgrade and test out their dApps, the better. So having said that, Sam, we're just in the process of upgrading the preview network, I believe.
We upgraded the preview network a couple weeks ago now with the first 10.0 pre-release. We are continuing to encourage other SPOs to update on preview. People should be rolling out to pre-prod mainnet soon with the 10.1.1 release.
That's awesome. I always appreciate the clarity. Sorry, Kevin.
Well, just want to redo your link tag so you can.
Sure. No, well, yeah, we'll make sure that we have any and all links that that we can get here up to date. That way, you can, if you get tired of watching this, you can read about it for yourselves. I think I have two more questions here, if I may put this against y'all. This one, there's no, I'm not holding you to the fire on this, but I know there's some talk of wanting to get this this upgrade Chang 2 out by the end of 2024. Is that something that's still looking feasible? Sam, I guess you brought in the hard fork working group. Is that something that is still a pretty hot topic, or is that pushing to 25 at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hot topic right now between the hard fork working group. The interim constitution committee is the one that's basically going to have to sign off of it on it, as well as the SPOs. So, I mean, there's lots of debates internally, basically, on timing, but right now we haven't pushed any dates at this point, and we're looking to get the action out fairly soon here. If the action expires, it's not a big deal. The system's live. You just submit the action again and go for the next window.
Wonderful. I think the other question that I had here, if I can remember it correctly, was any potential parameter changes. Now, forgive me if those don't come until the actual CC election next summer, but is there any potential that the ICC would be submitting any parameters, suggestions or changes based on drafting of the Constitution and getting that signed?
No, the only parameter change that is occurring in the short term here isn't really a parameter change. It's a parameter augmentation. It's adding the for the new primitives within Plutus that are going to be activated at Chang 2. It's adding attributes into the parameter set for that cost model. So it's basically adding to it. It's not modifying it.
Yeah, and the parameter committee is considering various other proposals that have been put forward from the community. So there's a community proposal to look into relaxing some of the Plutus cost limits, particularly those relating to the memory unit limit. So it's actively considering that. There's some good performance data. We've been able to unlock some additional performance for Plutus scripts with the Chang hard fork with Node version 9.1.1 and 10. So we're monitoring the situation on chain. We're looking at how things are working out, but there is potential perhaps to relax those limits to enable more use of Plutus scripts going forward, so more capacity on chain. Obviously, that has to be balanced with all the other demands that are being made on the chain, including the new voting load that we'll be seeing once we get through to Chang number 2.
But Kevin, you wouldn't foresee that coming on this side of the hard fork. I mean, we would wait until we had the DREPs live to vote on any changes to the actual cost model.
Absolutely. I assume Tax was looking forward into the future here rather than saying, what are we going to do in the next few weeks? So
gotcha.
At this point in time, we're certainly considering the opportunity for changing these parameter text, but I don't think we're anticipating making an immediate change. And obviously, the main thing that we have in mind is obviously the long-term sustainability and operation of the chain. So whatever we're doing, we have to consider that as being the most important aspect to any change.
And the other thing we would be looking at as Chang 2 goes live is basically observing how much participation we have and whether we should modify any of the voting thresholds, because there are a number of different levers we can pull for the governance itself, but we need to see some data and see like what participation is going to look like to be able to modify those.
It's great stuff, guys. And yes, I apologize if I wasn't clear. I did ask a little bit of future state questions there, but I believe there is some desire to know, hey, what, not only when is Chain 2 coming, but what happens in the quick interim after that? Well, I say everyone, I think a lot of people do have that future state that they are looking at. So I thought that might be great to bring in. But I think we can sum this up here. If we look at, again, we're talking about Node 10.1. Is .1.1 or .1.0?
10.1.1. It'll be the first mainnet ready release since the 9 series. So it's coming soon if it has not been delivered yet when you see this.
Awesome.
I pushed the button earlier today, Sam. So
so we're live already. There we go.
This is still in pre-prod though, right?
No, this is the mainnet release. So 10.1.1 was listed as a stable release. So anyone on pre-production and mainnet should be upgrading to 10.1.1 now.
Roger that.
So we have full regression tests completed. We have a green light from the performance and tracing team. The performance results looking very good, and for Node version 10, we've introduced a new set of benchmarking tests specifically to check out the new governance features, so to determine the impact of the voting and other aspects of the governance system on chain.
So looking forward, Tex, what I would say that we probably have coming, I mean, we still have to figure out if we can get it to pass the benchmarks and whatnot, but we have some early indications that we will. We'd be looking at in early next year starting to look to moving from GHC 8.10 to GHC 9.6 as the default. So that would be another thing coming around the corner. I don't know exactly when that's going to be because a lot of it is performance dependent, but that would be another thing that people can really look forward to.
Super awesome. I love this, guys. It's super exciting, and I really appreciate you making some time to join for me, come together and speak some more about this. If there's anything else you have to say, I'm more than happy to hear it. Otherwise, we'll move this along and look forward to the future.
What do you think, Kevin? Should we talk at all about Genesis and UTXO HD that are coming around the pipe?
Oh, I was going to say, why not spill the beans slightly, Sam? It's a good opportunity, right? Tell the world about things that are in the pipeline.
Yeah, so I mean, we can say that basically we've been working directly with Twig Modus on the delivery of Genesis, and they're getting to the point where they're ready to start merging PRs and get things directly integrated into the node. When we do it, we'll be off by default, so people will have to opt in to test it out initially, and then we'll eventually move to making it the default, just like we did with the new networking stack for the P2P stuff. And on the UTXO HD front, we're working on the in-memory version, which basically is kind of like the existing one, except for it's restructured differently in memory to work better with it. And then the LMDB backend, which is basically the on-disk backend where these UTXOs will be stored. The benefit to this is if you don't need fast access, you can depend on more storage basically to reduce your memory footprint. We do expect that with fast SSDs and with the current LSM work, that's being done by the well-typed team right now, that we will be able to get this onto stake pool operators as well to reduce the memory footprint for stake pool operators. But we don't expect to see that with the initial LMDB implementation we're looking at merging shortly. Kevin, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so the initial implementation is going to provide benefits for people who are running full node wallets, for example. So it's something that might be available for dataless users or other full node wallets that are available. It might be used by DB-Sync and other tool providers. So that will make various types of tooling much more accessible. And but at this stage, we're probably thinking that the LSM solution is the best option for those stake pool operators who are memory constrained, who aren't willing to spend out on provisioning their systems with 32 gig. I imagine we need now, right, Sam?
Yeah, somewhere between around 24, I think, is where we're currently at. We're just north of 16, but that's going to bump up slightly with the in-memory UTXO HD implementation, but not much.
So watch this space, Tex. Lots of things happening, and as we go into 2025, things are going to be even more interesting, because now we're starting to put together a roadmap for node development with the community. So the 2025 is going to be the year when we take on board community input, where we start to take direction via Intersect, working groups, technical steering committee, and other bodies, and plan for the future of Cardano together.
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, very happy to hear that. Even down to the technical level, we're going to get that community decentralization coming in. So all great things around the board here. I'll sum it up here as far as the major points. So we have Node 10.1.1, and that is bringing in changes and adaptations, improvements, if you will, to the voting structure to include the no confidence vote. And then we also talked a little bit here at the tail end about Genesis and UTXO. Did I get that right?
UTXO HD.
HD. I'm sorry. Thank you. Awesome. Well, I do want to appreciate y'all's times once again. Again, this has been Kevin Hammond and Sam Leathers, and we'll see you guys for the next major development.
Thank you, Tex.
Thanks. Talk to you again soon.
Take care.